Hey everybody and welcome back to the Shonen Junkies. My name is Ben and as always I'm with my co-host
Edgar.
And today we have a tier list. It's our first ever tier list with the webcam.
Without the
What?
webcam.
With the webcam.
Well, this is a cam, but not the webcam.
Oh, the camera.
Yeah.
First time with the camera.
Yeah, because if you remember the
Yeah.
last one we did was Shonen Sensei tier list.
Oh
am I correct?
yeah, and we had the webcams.
Yeah.
And
that one was online.
But
yeah.
most of our other ones we normally just
But
did.
I can
where
touch
we
you
just-
with
yeah.
this in this one.
Yeah.
I can touch you now. So not that was required, but you know, good to
Right.
know.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
So today's tier list we're going to be doing is the heroic trio tier list. So
Okay.
we're going to have a bunch of heroic trios, people who really came in threes. You could basically group up a whole bunch of people in threes, but like
But ones that felt more
Yeah.
like they for a
they
long
are
time.
the trio.
Yeah.
You know? They are
At
the
least
ones.
they're either marketed that way, or they're in the story that way, or they're friends
Yeah.
that way. There's like a lot of different characters that might be in a trio for different reasons, but nonetheless, we're gonna rank them that way. Some of them are pretty obvious, and there's not that many at
Yeah.
the same time. You get more duos and quads, all jumbled together. You know.
Yeah, we're just trying to do something interesting. Like, we could do best tier list protagonist, best tier list antagonist, but everybody's already done those before, and we plan on doing them eventually. But, you know, right now I'm just trying to do things that are a little bit more creative.
I'm trying to be
things,
different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Things that I'm sure well, maybe not 1,000,000,000%. I wouldn't bet my life on it, but I'm sure that you couldn't really find heroic trio tier list for anime on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you can't find that. So yeah,
Let's get started.
Let's get started. I think this is going to probably form our entire thinking on this tier list. We have the heroic trio of Loid Forger, Yor Forger, and Anya Forger. Edgar, what are your first thoughts about this?
All right. Well,
let's first off let's decide like how are we going to rank this. I think an important thing has to be not how good they are individually. Like, do they do things together?
Yeah.
Right? Because I know there are a couple people on this list who are definitely marketed as trios, and I'm like, I haven't seen them do anything together. You know, so like, what we're going to base it on how good they are. Like
as a team
together, how like have they done stuff together like in the series that is important to the plot, or is it always like one character in this trio who's doing all the stuff, right? This one I actually think is on the higher end, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, well,
in terms of like togetherness.
They don't really like do like the spy and missions like together, obviously, because they're trying to keep things from each other.
That's
but
true.
they're a family through and through together.
Which is what SpyxFamily is about.
Yeah,
you know?
it's in the name. Half spy, half family.
Yeah, there you go.
So they got that down.
Uh-huh.
And they definitely are super popular.
Yeah.
They definitely all like each other.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes you get these trios and they don't like each other.
Yeah.
And you're like, are y'all even friends at this point or something like that?
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably put this at a B or A. I don't know. I wouldn't give it an S. I don't know.
I don't know.
They just don't do that much together.
Here's I guess you're right. When it comes to like their missions, it's all individual.
I would even argue that Anya and Loid have done missions together.
That's true.
Unknowingly.
That's true. But what I'm saying is that it's like, you know, like they don't deliver, right? It's always an individual effort that delivers, right?
Yeah.
But Loid helps Anya, you know, like win the dodgeball thing or something like that, or but she doesn't win, actually she loses, so that's a terrible analogy.
Yeah.
But your, you know, Loid helps Yor helps Loid, and then they're the ones individually who do it.
They stick up for each other. They look out for each other. They help each other when they're in need. And that's basically what a family is. But
I would give it, as of right now, I would set them in A.
Just to see. I'm fine with that. I just don't think they're like the...
And if we can move them down, we can, you know.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I shrink them down, let's Ant-Man them, and put them right there.
You gotta be a little bit smaller than that.
You gotta smush them.
Forger family.
Yeah.
There you go.
And we're not counting the dog. We're not counting Bond. I mean, we're counting humans.
I know we could have counted Bond, but
Yeah.
I know. But Bond is not a human, and we needed 3s. So.
Yeah.
All right.
We make it work for the thing.
Pokemon.
Speaking of animals, we're not gonna count
Yeah,
them. We're not gonna count.
I was
Pikachu.
like, should we count Pikachu in this? Because if so, then it's 4.
Yeah, but not.
But
no.
no. I mean, she's even holding.
I don't even know what that is.
Misty,
I'm so sorry.
Misty.
No, I know who Misty is. I just don't
yeah.
know what that Pokemon is. I'm so sorry. I am not that well versed in Pokemon names.
If you came up to me, elementary school,
It's
I tell
Eggy
you
something.
all of them. I could tell you all of them, but I've lost that knowledge.
I am not that.
And to
good
be
at it.
honest, that's okay because Pokemon games suck now. That's right. Come after me. Controversial
Hey,
statement at the
man.
beginning of the video.
Arceus was okay, man.
Oh, Arceus was okay.
No,
I did like Arceus.
It was like Breath of the Wild, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it was a good prototype for a better game.
Small thing,
You know.
Pokemon, you're like the biggest franchise. You're like the biggest thing ever. Why do you not put money in the games?
Because they're run by the worst
Game Freak, you
Game
suck.
Freak,
Is
a
what
company
you
ever,
are.
yeah.
Take notes from.
Yeah.
You're a
Now
lo-
they're not immensely corrupt like an EA or an
They just don't wanna
Ubisoft,
try.
you know, but they're just bad at creating games. Like
Whatever.
they just are.
Take notes
you
from
know.
Legend of Zelda,
Yeah.
even though I'm not a Zelda fan, but whatever.
Okay, here's my thing. Have we seen Brock and Misty do anything?
No, but they're always around.
They're always together. They're always supporting. But have they done anything? I feel like
I
it's
haven't seen the
always,
anime,
I've-
other than
I
2
have.
episodes.
I have as a little kid. I feel like it's always Ash and Pikachu who are always finishing the job, right? And Misty and Brock are like, "Wow, that's crazy," you know?
Wow, isn't Brock an adult? Like he has.
I think
he has
is.
a family.
Yeah, I think he is.
No,
I think
not a family, right?
no, I think
adult.
he's an adult.
He had a whole gym to himself, and then you're like, "All right, man, I'm gonna stick with
Yeah.
this kid."
Yeah.
That's not weird. I don't know. I mean, I've never seen them. I mean, you always see them together. They're always in like every episode together, but I don't know how well they collaborate with
They
each other.
collaborate. That's what I'm saying. Is that I feel like
At
that,
least they're
I
together
feel,
all the time.
I feel like this is an issue. I feel like that this trio is not a trio. I think it's Ash and his 2 sidekicks, right?
It kind of works out in the end. They're with each other more than arguably. They're with each other in the story.
Okay.
Than Anya and Loid. I mean, they're. You know what I mean? You
Right,
understand what I'm saying?
but I'm saying that the whole point and the whole plot revolves around
battling Pokemon and catching Pokemon.
Well, I'm saying that in Spy Family, the whole plot revolves around Loid, Anya, and Yor, like their relationship and like how their relationship could get them in trouble.
But you
how
also-
their relationship. But like
you can
what
also
I'm
argue
saying
that
is
Yor's
like,
barely in that.
you could have an anime. You could have the anime with just Brock and Pikachu. I mean, Ash and Pikachu.
Why do you keep
I
saying
don't
Brock?
know. Ash and Pikachu.
I mean, they pair pretty well together.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know. I would just put them in C, I guess. Then if you think that much.
It's funny that I was fighting against them, but I was gonna put them in C too. Why do we do that a lot?
I don't know.
We do that all the time.
We argue with ourselves. We make
Yeah.
up arguments in our head.
when we're actually I would put them in C. Sorry if you're like a huge Pokemon fan.
But you're right. I don't see that much.
I just can't in my memory
You don't-
even remember what Misty and Brock have done. Like I just can't. Like maybe it's just because I watched it as a kid and I don't remember. Like put down in the comments below. Be like, oh Ben, you're so wrong. Obviously, Misty and Brock took down this ginormous villain, and I'm like, okay, I didn't even know.
Team Rocket. Maybe they're a better trio that we should have put in this one. Team Rocket.
Oh
always
yeah, we
there.
should have. I was gonna put them in, but I was like, oh no, they're more of a duo. But I forgot Meowie.
Yeah, because he
Meowie,
talks
yeah,
at
he
least.
talks,
He doesn't
yeah.
just say his name.
Yeah.
I would have counted.
Maybe we'll do a little extra at
Yeah.
the end. All right, we got the original, like the guys who like set. Who set up.
Yeah,
the
they're
whole
like the
trio
pinnacle
of
of.
heroes.
Yeah, they're like the pinnacle of what a trio should be. But
But are
haven't
they
seen-
though?
they kind of hate each other. Like they're also like, but they are.
Sasuke kind of.
From what I get, from what the
who's
vibe,
the girl's name again? Sorry.
Sakura.
Sakura. Sorry,
See,
Sasuke and Sakura.
I've only seen like 80 episodes, but from what I understand, in the future, it feels like the two ones that we really focus on is Sasuke and Naruto, but they also fight each most of the time, or are
Yeah.
separated most of the time. And then Sakura is just kind of like I know they're kind of together for a good while in the original anime, and then Sasuke gets separated. but also he kind of doesn't stick around for like I don't know. I'm like trying to.
I've been spoiled on so many Naruto plot points.
See, but
it's
based
not
on
my fault.
me too. But based off those spoilers, it feels like they're not always together.
Yeah.
And they don't always like each other. So, because there's always a lot of fights between them, especially with Naruto and
But
Sasuke.
have they? What like
They're kind of like rivals.
Yeah, they're rivals. It's kind of Deku Bakugo. But have they like done stuff like in what you've seen? Have they done stuff to like fought a villain together? You know, like played off of each other.
Yeah.
Then already I feel like that's worthy of B tier.
And they're also iconic. Super iconic.
They are super iconic.
I would put them in A. Either below. If you want to put them below.
I put them below. But I can see what you mean.
But I would just argue that they've at least done stuff together more than all three of them, more than Loid and Anya.
Right,
Anya
but I'm still a little bit like I don't know. I think we should put them top of A because I was thinking of putting these guys in S. Because I just love the way that
I just don't think they
dynamics.
do that much stuff. I mean, as a family, but they don't do that much stuff.
Right, but there's not much stuff that happens in Spy Family.
But that's my argument is that in the action stuff, yours and a part of it.
We'll reevaluate these two scenarios at the end.
I really think we're gonna get a lot of slack for putting them below.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
You stink!
Should we wait?
Oh, me. So the lawnmower came and we stood around for a little bit. And now I forgot what we were arguing about. So let's just move on.
That we might get some heat from I think putting Naruto and Sasuke.
Under
right. Loid, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah,
later.
we'll figure that out later. All right. We
yes,
got
my boys.
the boys and girls.
This is pretty high.
It's pretty high.
I would put S tier probably.
I'm putting it in S tier too. Great minds think alike.
Because I've seen everything there is to know
Yeah.
about this trio, and how they develop, what they do. They do their jobs together pretty frequently.
Yeah. I will say, out of everybody
they
on
live
here,
together.
I think there's only one other group of people who have better rapport than these three, right? Because these three are always snapping so well. The dialogue is so well between one another. And they have some really wholesome moments. There is something that happens at the end of part 1 of Chainsaw Man that there are two things that happen that is solely based on the relationship of these three. And the moment does not hit if these three's relationship does not make you feel something.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're able to, they hate each other at the beginning and the shift happens. And then when the thing that happens, it destroys your soul and leaves you being like, man, I cannot believe that just happened.
Yeah.
True. It is. You're absolutely right. Yeah. S tier. 1,000,000,000%. Really well done.
Topsy-Toyvy over here.
Topsy-Toyvy. Really well done. Really well written by Fujimoto.
Yeah.
Really well written.
They're also in a lot of action scenes together, so they have the same job. They live in the same
and
apartment.
they fight together as well. Yeah, like Denji and Power have done fights together. Aki and Denji. One of the best scenes in the first season was when they were kicking that guy in the balls.
Yeah, dude.
Together. Like, oh, dude, I love that scene,
yeah.
man. All right. I'm going to have to speak on this one.
I had no knowledge of this one. I didn't even know there was a girl in this trio.
Yes, there are. So these are the guys from My Hero Academia Vigilantes, which a lot of people say is better than the original My Hero, which I disagree with. However, I think the best arc in the series, or in all of My Hero Academia, is in Vigilantes. So who we have in this trio, I'm going to be referring to them mostly by their hero names. This is our main character. His name is Koichi, and his hero name is Skycrawler. This guy, I always forget what his name is, but I know his hero name is Knuckle Duster, which I love. I love that name. He's basically supposed to be the Batman. If All Might is Superman, he's the Batman of the My Hero world.
All right.
And
we should have seen him, or a character like him in the My Hero
1,000,000,000%. And I hope they do show up. There's still a chance. Horikoshi put him in, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And this
he would have to try.
Yeah. And this is Pop Step. Stop that. His art is beautiful. He definitely.
I meant storytelling wise.
Yes,
I know his art's there, bro. Like,
I know. But Pop Step is here. Hey man, you haven't read the most recent chapter. For those of you My Hero fans, you know what I'm talking about. But this is Pop Step. But yeah, so these are actually a really good trio, and they're together a lot. There is a part in the story where Knuckle Duster does kind of veer out of the story, and he kind of stays away until the end. It's My Hero Academia Vigilantes is really weird, and I really want to review it because I do think the series is kind of strange the way that it presents itself. But in terms of like when they're on screen, they have really good rapport. They have done fights together. Like he is basically the master, and he teaches Skycrawler, and he does a really, really good job of doing it. And Popstep and them obviously have a relationship you can see in this volume cover right here.
Yeah. But where would you put these three?
I'd put them in B. Whoops, they have a little thingy right here. Let me fix that. Right. All right. Edgar, why don't you take this one?
Hey, it's my boys. Look, this might be biased, but I think this would probably be in either A or S tier because in the way they carry for each other and their involvement in the stories and the fights that they're in, and their growth with each other, that they want to one-up each other one way.
For those who haven't watched Soul Eater, talk about the guns and the
weapons
real quick.
Oh yeah, because we were kind of debating on like, would this count as a trio when they always fight side by side with their weapons that they use?
Death the Kid has like his own mini trio.
Yeah,
with
Death the
himself.
Kid with Liz and Patty, they're like a trio. But I just count these three specifically because they are the Meisters, and while they're using weapons who are, yes, characters, it's always kind of like it's them.
Mhm.
Like the first three episodes tell the stories involving those three characters because they are the Meisters, because the Meisters fight with the weapons, not the other way around. So one could argue that they're more important, but Maka and Soul are just as important as as anyone else. But I just count these three, Black Star, Maka, and Death the Kid, because they are just them, and they're they're iconic, and they're always together, and they're like the main characters, I would argue. So I would put them in A tier or S tier, because
from what I've seen so far, brilliant.
Yeah,
like I enjoy it. I've only read the first like major volume.
Their relationship grows. They respect each other more in the end, and they have their moments where they argue. They have the moments where they fight, and they compare each other in terms of how they want to get stronger and who they need to get stronger.
I'm okay with putting them in S.
Yeah,
why not?
They're great. They're really underrated. We just don't hear a lot about them because that was only in the manga that we see.
Yeah,
I mean, we see a little bit in the anime, but if the manga was adapted, people would be like, oh yeah, We'll see. Maybe Fire Force reamps the
Is there a trio in front? No, it's more of a duo with Arthur and Shinra. I wouldn't put a trio.
You can change whoever that is. Sometimes it's Tamaki.
Yeah,
but not really.
Not really. Yeah. I don't want to talk about this one, Edgar.
Well, I can. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. They're not a trio.
Look, they are a trio, but they're marketed as such, so we have to put them in here.
But
and they're one of the they're one of the biggest anime trios of all time, but they're not a trio.
And anyone who reads or has eyes knows that they don't do anything together. Ever.
And in the one movie, here we go.
And in the movie, we're like,
and in the one movie
movie
where they're like the Three Musketeers, and remember the initial image was a 3 behind them, and it was them in their awesome suits that first of all they only wore for 5 minutes in the movie.
Yeah.
It was marketed as such. But see, notice how there's something missing in the top here. Notice how it all has this stuff right here. It's because I had to cut out Rhodey, right? Because only time I find a transparent image of these three is when Rhodey is in the background, right? And here's my thing, right? Here's my thing, right? I like Rhodey as a character. I genuinely do. And this isn't towards, any animosity towards him. But this movie, the third movie, World Hero Mission, should have been about, it desperately needed to be, Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto going on an adventure and growing rapport. Because here's what I'm gonna say, is like, they don't have any rapport. If you're talking about a duo, Bakugo and Deku, we're talking differently. We're talking maybe in terms of like duos.
Yeah, there's definitely something there.
There's definitely something there, that we can praise and definitely talk about, and the relationship has surfaced a whole bunch of YouTube videos and people talking about anime rivalries and how well it's written. But in terms of Shoto Todoroki being a part of this trio, what have they accomplished together other than saving Todoroki's brother in that one episode where Endeavor has a panic attack?
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's nothing. If you're talking about individual moments with Deku and Shoto, sure. But even then, what else has Shoto and Deku done together?
Yeah.
Nothing. They've done nothing.
And I wouldn't count fighting each other as
no.
either.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. One of my biggest issues with My Hero is that, first of all, I think it's ending too quickly. I think the way Horikoshi set up a larger series than what he's giving out, right? So what I believe is happening right now is that you have your major characters, Bakugo, Shoto, missing major arcs. They miss the overhaul arc, right? And that is a major part of the story that could have given these three rapport, right? But I swear, every time we see these characters, it's the same joke. Right? Yeah. It's the Deku, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then Bakugo like, shut up, you damn nerd. And Shoto's like, we're friends, Bakugo, right? And Bakugo's like, no, we're not, shut up. It's the same joke every time.
And I actually have to agree with Bakugo there because they're just not. They're just
exactly.
classmates.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, is that it's like, is that Deku, like when we're talking about doubles with these two characters, there's definitely something there, especially with Bakugo and Deku. Like the whole purpose of the show is based off of the relationship of these two characters, right?
After season 2, Deku and Todoroki like have so much. I mean, they talk to each other, and they like, and Deku cares and visits their home. But like, I don't know, it really, you get the feeling where like they're like so distant from each other. It's like Legolas with Frodo. You know, Legolas only says one line to Frodo. Like,
yeah.
do they never interact with each other?
Right, but the main rapport of the main trio of that movie is Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, right? And Tolkien is a good enough writer to know that Legolas wouldn't have anything.
Even Gollum and Sam and Frodo have more like of a
Let's
trio.
put them in here. Yeah. No, but here's, like, for those of you My Hero fans who are like, oh, Ben's just a hater.
He loves it way more than I do.
I love My Hero Academia with a passion. I have all the volumes right there, including MHA Vigilantes, and I love it, and I think it's fantastic. But you have to point out when it is having issues. And I genuinely, like, people think Deku is a bad protagonist. You know, people are like, Deku is a mid protagonist. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, that's what I'm saying, is that there's just, there are so many arcs where these characters go missing that I feel like we don't have that development. This is becoming a whole My Hero video. But I genuinely like Todoroki as a character, and I think his sullen attitude has to do with, you know, his past and stuff like that. And I think that's completely fine. I just think that the whole basis of his character is his family past, and there's nothing beyond it.
The good part of that is Endeavor, and that's it. Like, he's like he's the core of that entire arc.
I think he's the best
drama.
written character in My Hero.
And the only part of that we see with Todoroki is in the second season, and after that it's just not. He's a whole nothing burger. He's like a nothing sandwich, and that looks cool to look at, but after you start eating it, I'm like, wow, there's nothing in this.
I will fight for these individual characters every day, especially for Deku, because everybody's like, Deku is a terrible protagonist, but I think
I don't agree with that.
I think he's actually a really good protagonist who fits the world of My Hero Academia perfectly. And what his protagonist has to do, which is a positive protagonist, is affect the lives of everybody around him, which he does with these two characters very clearly to see. But the issue with this is that MHA, or whoever owns the IP of MHA, looked at this and went, this is a perfect opportunity for like the Three Musketeers or the new Big Three. But if we're talking about the Big Three, Mirio, Sun Eater, and Power Surge, whatever her name is, that we see them do more stuff together than these three.
Arguably, I don't like the mistreatment that What's-Her-Face gets, because she gets sidelined when she doesn't get an episode, and yet we focus on the other two. But I would still argue that, they do more stuff together, and they seem more like a trio than these
We
three
complained about it too much. It has to go in E. Like, it has
E
to
or
go
F?
in E.
But I mean, F would be like
F would be
insulting. Like
yeah. I mean, F would be like if they had these problems and they were bad characters.
Yeah.
Because they're not bad characters. They are genuinely good characters. But in terms of a trio and them being marketed as such is absurd.
Yeah, to spin the face and like why that is not what they do at all.
God.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And it makes me angry. It genuinely makes me angry.
It's rare to see.
Anyway.
I don't see you angry with my hero that often.
I know, of course, because I love the story. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
But except that. But yeah. All right, let's get on into some more happier.
Yay!
News.
Why
sorry,
does she have a?
sorry, she had
her
had
head's
she
blown
had,
in.
She had a
Tumor. She had a tumor cut out.
she had a talk bubble right there, and I had to erase it.
Okay.
But yeah, so
You got Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara.
or Kugasaki, whichever one.
Is it? How do people say it? Is it Nobara? I thought it was Nobara.
I say Nobara.
That's her last name, right?
Yeah, but Kugasaki is her first name, and that's what a lot of people call her as. But I say
What's
I
Yuji's
say
first? Is
Nobara.
Yuji his first name?
Yuji is his first name. Itadori is his last.
See, that's so weird. I don't know why Yuji makes sense as Yuji, and yet I can't. I think Nobara is Nobara, and I can't think of anything else.
I think Megumi is his last name. Fushiguro.
See
is his
that
first.
like I don't.
Yeah. I might be getting that mixed up, but I think I don't know.
Fushiguro is his last name. I know
yeah,
that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Here's the thing with these three. Very in the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen, 1,000,000,000% like A or S tier, right? They're fantastic. But as we're getting forward on into the manga, there's something that happens.
There's just one arc where we get them, and then that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's about 2 or 3 because we have them.
But even in Shibuya, which is the next time we see them, which we'll probably see them in season 2.
Yeah.
They're split up, and they're not really together.
They are split up. But, I mean, if we're talking about, like, the first couple of volumes, they're always together, and they're always working together, and their rapport is very well.
So let's just I feel like we shouldn't talk about season 2, because
let's just talk about season 1.
I feel like even when we avoid spoilers there, we'll just say spoilers inadvertently.
Yeah.
So let's just close this in just season 1.
In terms of season 1, it's an A or an S,
and
their rapport is like really good too.
Yeah.
Like their
character development.
Their rapport is arguably better than Denji, Aki, and Power. But Denji, Aki, and Power have like a story element that is like has to be based on their friendship to work, and it works so well because of it. But I think Itadori, Megumi, and Fushiguro are like, I might get some flack for this. I think they're better. They're the better Naruto gang, in my opinion.
Just based on what I've seen in Naruto, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah, I at least obviously they're a play on like the Naruto gang, obviously. Yeah. But I mean, I just think that they're like they work together so well. Their personalities work so well together, and their moments are like really good.
Yeah.
I put them in S below.
I would argue that they are better than Naruto in the just by the woman character alone.
Yeah,
like Nobara is so fleshed out,
far ahead,
and such an interesting character and so fun. She's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think S, right?
Yeah.
Good. Congrats, new shonen on the these new shonen characters, on the rise.
I feel like. I mean, we might get slack. Again, I don't know that much about Naruto, but just based on the characters, these new shonen have like built their characters off that format, and yet, from what I've read, because I've read all those series, have done it better. Just from what I've gotten. Yeah.
Okay, so this one is Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji.
This one's tricky because technically we have seen.
Technically, they're
Usopp
a group. But Edgar is Edgar just finished Thriller Bark. He's on Saboti right now. When you catch up, you'll realize this is the three. This is the three. Everybody agrees these are the
strength-wise. They're the front of the gang.
Of course,
they're the strongest of the gang.
Of course, it's Luffy. But in One Piece, it's always Luffy faces off against the big bad. Zoro faces off against the second big bad, and then Sanji the third.
Yeah,
and that really solidifies itself
for some reason. I don't know why. Even when Frankie joins the group, still somehow Sanji is he kicks, but like they never explain that he's strong.
I just think Sanji just has that fan base, like Sanji's in the popularity poll. It's always Luffy, Zoro, Sanji,
and based on that, Oda made him infinitely stronger.
Why
not?
I mean, yeah, but I'm sure Oda knew which one of these characters would be a huge hit.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, why does Zoro not have an eye?
But you're gonna have to figure that out, buddy. You're gonna have to figure that out.
I already know why.
So here's the thing with this trio: they never really fight together. Their rapport is very it's not weird. It's very good. All the Straw Hats. I'm surprised Oda has not made a wrong choice to join the Straw Hats once.
Yeah,
and that is a good.
They
feat.
work off each other so well.
Yeah, and that's crazy, right? That he continuously does that. It's insane.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of a trio, it would be. I would have a hard time putting them above a Naruto.
I put them high B or lower A.
I would put them lower A. Here's the thing with these three is that they never fight together, but there's something about them that they don't need to. And Oda's style of writing that's so good because we have Luffy, the Straw Hat Captain, his right-hand man Zoro, and his left-hand man Sanji, right? Yeah. And there's just something about that works so well in One Piece's story that I never get sick of it. I'm I know the final arc. Luffy's going to fight against the big bad, Zoro's going to fight against the second, and Sanji's going to fight against the third.
So it's not inherently that they fight as a team. It's just that their place in the Straw Hat gang and where they are in the story always feels like they're there together.
Yeah, and it's always about individual growth, Yeah. Luffy wants to become the Pirate King, and that means he has to fight his own battles.
Yeah.
Zoro wants to become the best swordsman on the planet. He has to fight his own battles to do so. Sanji wants to cook.
Get with the hottest woman.
Yeah, there you go.
He wants to cook.
He wants to
let him cook.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
But I'd put them in A. I just think that it would be hard to put them against people who actually work together,
Yeah.
But in terms of One Piece in the world, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Someone out of context, this list looks really problematic.
Yeah, really problematic. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Naruto above One Piece, and then Chainsaw Man and Soul Eater above
above One Piece. Yeah. No. Obviously, One Piece's story is sky high. Obviously. Here we go. So this one's going to be interesting, Edgar.
Yeah.
I actually don't know your thoughts on this.
Up until Entertainment District arc, I feel like afterwards we don't see them together that much.
They don't really fight together that much.
No, not fight together. Fight together as a group. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah, you're right. They don't fight in general. They don't fight together in general
until the final battle.
But they still.
Until the final.
But in the final, the last arc, Sunrise or
Sunrise.
Infinity Castle.
Not Infinity Castle.
Oh, and Sunrise.
Because Infinity Castle, they're
all separated.
Zenitsu fights alone. Inosuke fights with somebody else, and then Tanjiro fights with somebody else.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I feel like afterwards we don't really feel it, but that doesn't go to say that it discredits anything before.
Sunrise is exactly like Entertainment District, where they're trying to get
they do,
there, So it's kind of
they all care for each other, and the rapport is really great.
So it's kind of actually similar to Itadori, Megumi, and Kugisaki.
Yeah,
because the first season they're together, and the second season too. But I mean, the second season, when they work together, it's one of the hypest moments.
Yeah.
And when they have to work together, I feel like they're always on death's door and barely scrape by.
Even in Mugen Train, they work really well together.
And Mugen Train, I completely forgot that they work together.
Everyone always forgets Mugen. Not just you, but everyone.
I'm just going to say that with these characters alone, you could argue that they're kind of unbearable at times, but there's something about them being together.
Yeah.
Like when it was just Zenitsu and Tanjiro, I was
I'm not gonna be able to.
This is gonna be a little bit absurd.
This ain't working, dog.
I have always liked Zenitsu. The story can't be based just off of this friendship, and then of course the boar comes in, and you're
somehow it makes sense.
It's all perfect, and it works really well. And in terms of fights and stuff like that, it's hard to find anybody who's achieved more as a trio than these three.
Yeah.
I
would put them in high A, above Loid.
I put them in S.
Yeah.
I'd put them in S. I'd put them just below Denji, Aki, and Power.
Sure, I can argue with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
I'm down with like I think that their trio is like one of the best, and I think it's one of the huge big selling points of Demon Slayer, and it's actually a well marketed trio. you
Yeah.
know like they're like, hey, they're a trio, and then they're actually a trio. So I think
Yeah.
that's great. All right.
Yes.
Oh man.
This is tough.
I
This
actually
is in the fourth season. It
Don't-
really kind
it
of
really
throws a bomb
throws-
in the,
yeah.
the thing. But written. I mean,
What we base this list off of is the trio a main character and his two sidekicks, right? That's what we're basing this off. And have they done stuff together? But in terms of Armin being the brains,
and
Eren
Mikasa
being the
brawn.
Eren being the brawn, and Mikasa being like the
Better
tactician. Yeah,
the better fighter.
Yeah,
technically,
exactly.
They're written really well. But
Obviously.
I feel like you're
Obviously.
right, and I feel like they have the same vibes as Zoro, Sanji. While they don't fight together, yet the way they are as characters and their roles in the group always feels like they're fighting together. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, but it's not like, here's the thing with Armin's brain. His brain is more towards the advantage of the scouts as a whole
Not really, as
than
a
the
group.
trio.
Yeah.
Because he's never like giving tactical advice to like Eren and Mikasa
Yeah.
specifically, right?
They feel they are really great, but they also feel very distant and sometimes. So it's like,
I would say it's more like, this is difficult because it's more like a duo, right? It's more like a set of duos, right?
yeah.
It's Eren and Armin are best friends. Eren and Mikasa are like sister lovers, sister brother lovers, but step bro, lovers. But
that doesn't make it better.
anyway,
But y'all know what we mean.
you know
Like,
what I mean. And then in the fourth season, these are the two main protagonists,
Yeah.
right? Mikasa and Armin are the two main protagonists once Eren goes full antagonist. So I think it's more of like they are sets together, but in terms of like when they are a trio, just themselves doing stuff, it's usually not that. And I just don't think the story is like built around that. Right?
I'd put them in high B or below Sanji and Zoro and Luffy then, if that's the case.
I would put them in A, but I'd put them above Luffy, Zoro, Sanji.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because we have seen these work together. And, I mean, Armin and Eren and Mikasa all work together in the best arc, in my opinion, in anime history.
Yeah.
So, fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
That's everybody.
Oh, this is a nice list.
This is a nice list.
I feel like we're pretty these are really good. And then that one's like, no.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Loid Forger, the Forger family versus the Naruto trio?
I just feel like when I say they work well together, they just don't work. You know what I mean? Like they don't they don't do things together. There is a lot of toxicity
right.
in that group, but they at
You're
least
right.
like work.
You're right. Here's my thinking now, is that this family keeps so much secrets between each other that it's impossible for them to work fully together.
Yeah.
And until that happens, they're going to stay right here. But we know eventually in the story, all secrets will be revealed and they will work together. Yeah. And when that happens, maybe. But as of right now,
I just got based off what I know of Naruto forward, I feel like a lot of things that hold them back is that their characters. Sakura's character really holds him back because she's not written that well, from what I hear, and their toxicity between each other. It's like Denji, Power, and Aki in a standstill. If you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
but they're probably the most iconic over all of them. But this is a pretty good list.
This is a pretty good list.
But it's also pretty questionable because I feel like we'll see where some of these characters go. Duos would be much easier and squads would be much easier.
Yeah, 1,000,000,000%. I would have loved to add Mob, Reagan, and Dimple in here. But, I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know why.
It didn't feel like
it.
I mean,
didn't feel like it, yeah. But yeah, you guys, if you guys like this content, kind of long form tier list discussion. Sorry, we had a little bit of a rant on My Hero Academia.
That was really
but-
fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
That's
I really
a sneak
enjoyed
peek
it.
of what you'll get in our review of season 6 of My Hero Academia.
But yeah, look forward to that. We're going to have a review of My Hero Academia. We're also going to have a review of Blue Lock, which I'm super duper excited to get into.
Like it felt
There's
like
just so much. There's so much going on right now.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll get to Vinland Saga. Eventually, we'll get
Jesus,
to all this
yeah.
stuff. You
I mean,
know.
manga, I'm all there for it, but like I haven't
Yeah,
touched the
yeah,
anime in
yeah.
a while.
But yeah, you guys, make sure you hit like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If you're like, no, Bakugo and Deku and Shoto are actually the best trio in anime, let us know down below and call us stupid idiots.
I'll report you
and
for
stupid
fraud and
for
scamming.
fraud and
Let's get-
scamming.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you guys on the next Shonen Joke.
See ya.